Welcome to the Honorable Ministers of the Council, radio listeners via St. Martin of Radio 107.9 FM, respective radio stations island-wide, Tel TV Plus Channel 15, and online viewers. I'm Rolika Roach, and welcome to the live Council of Ministers press briefing for today, Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025. At this time, I would like to invite the Minister of Public Housing, Spatial Planning, Environment, and Infrastructure, Patrice Gumbs Jr., to address you. Minister Gumbs, you have the floor.
Good morning to my colleague ministers and those listening and viewing online as well. Allow me to begin my words by expressing my sincerest condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues of Mr. Troy Washington. His efforts, often in the face of much negativity and challenge, is testament to his dedication and love for this country. As Minister of Rummy, I had the distinct pleasure of working with Mr. Washington, and I remain committed to executing and continuing his ideas and his hard work on behalf and with his team at GB. On the topic of garbage, there has been an influx of garbage dumping in hotspots like town in the middle of the day, shortly after the garbage has already been picked up. Haulers have schedules that are posted, so I ask the community to adhere to those times as well. We need to do our part to keep our island clean. Haulers post their schedules so you can see when they should be in your area for pickup. If haulers don't abide by the schedules, you can submit timestamp photos and complaints to the Department of Infrastructure Contract Management. The ministry is in the process of reviewing all contracts, a lengthy process to ensure that proper service is given to all communities. In addition, as announced in January, we are working on legislation to issue fines, including for illegal dumping. Until this is realized, I urge everyone to not dump your trash right after the scheduled pickups. This could result in your trash being outside for a prolonged period of time until the next scheduled pickup date. Tourism is our economic pillar, but most importantly, the quality of life and health of our residents is fundamental. It will take all of us doing our part to keep our island clean and beautiful. On Monday, I announced a significant milestone in our ongoing efforts to transform waste management on our island. And no, this was not an April Fool's joke. The government of St. Martin will introduce an entrance fee of 10 Caribbean guilders at the landfill. This marks an essential step in addressing the long-standing waste management challenges we have faced as a nation. The decision was not made lightly. It follows years of planning, public consultations, and environmental assessments aimed at ensuring that our approach is both sustainable and beneficial for the people. The implementation of this fee is a critical component of our broader Waste Vision 2050, which seeks to establish a cleaner, healthier, and more sustainable future for all. Studies have highlighted the urgent need for change, pointing to issues such as landfill overcapacity, groundwater contamination risks, and increasing health concerns for surrounding communities. Through consultation expert analysis, it became clear that a structured waste management approach, including responsible financial mechanisms, was necessary. The introduction of this fee is backed by extensive research and observations of best practices on the front side and as well as neighboring islands. Over the past few years, delegations from St. Martin visited Aruba, Barbados, and Curacao to study their waste management systems. We learned that similar fee structures have successfully worked to reduce and help manage waste volumes while generating critical funds for further environmental improvements. With proper implementation and public awareness, these initiatives have proven effective in securing long-term benefits for both the environment and the economy. Infrastructure improvements are already underway as part of this transformation. A weighbridge is scheduled to arrive in April and will introduce precise waste volume measurement, laying the groundwork for a volume-based tipping fee system, which I spoke extensively about since taking office. Additionally, the resettlement area of impact, that's exactly the area right next to the landfill, is almost fully cleared, creating more space for waste sorting and improved landfill management. We understand that change can bring concerns. The introductory 10 Caribbean Guilder fee has been strategically set to ease the transition while supporting immediate improvements for our waste management system. Revenue generated will be allocated towards necessary upgrades until the establishment of the Waste Management Authority, which will oversee future developments in the sector. The entrance fee and accompanying infrastructure improvements mark the beginning of a phased implementation plan that includes the following: full integration of the weighbridge system for volume-based tipping fees, expansion of waste processing capabilities of the resettlement area of impact, commonly known as the RAI, development of waste diversion programs, acquisition of specialized equipment, including concrete crushers and green waste shredders, establishment of a dedicated waste authority, introduction of a waste separation and reduction initiatives, and finally, the launch of an educational programs to promote sustainable waste practices. This is not just about a fee. It's about changing our relationship with waste and taking responsibility for our environment. These steps are part of a larger vision that requires collective effort from all of us. I acknowledge the concerns raised by the public and understand that the transitions like these can be challenging. However, I urge all residents to see this as a necessary step towards a better future for St. Martin. For more information on the landfill entrance fee, implementation schedule, and answers to frequently asked questions, I encourage residents to visit the government website or scan the QR code displayed on the landfill billboard. Shifting some gears slightly, I wish to remind everyone of the call of action made by the ministry in collaboration with the K-Bay Community Council to come forth and identify plots within the K-Bay Cemetery. Since taking office, I have received requests from persons asking for the ministry's assistance in locating loved ones. This call to action forms part of our project to create, for the first time, a register for the cemetery. This project is critical to community beautification, enhancement, and proper management of limited space. The ministry has delayed the beginning of this project twice to accommodate persons coming forth, but this must begin soon to objectively manage what is left of the existing cemetery space. In a subsequent press briefing, I will announce the start date of the project. Finally, on the topic of road infrastructure and sewage water, I wish to inform everyone that the ministry is busy with ongoing investigations as to the cause of the sewage leak in and around the Yogesh building. In the meantime, we are moving forward with short-term mitigation efforts, which will include roadworks to make driving on areas like ATLH Road and Bush Road much more possible. I will update everyone on those at next week's press briefing. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Gumbs, for your opening remarks. I would like to inform our viewing and listening audience that we will not have any members of the media present at this time, and as such, the ministers will only be delivering their opening remarks. I would now like to invite the Honorable Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, Melissa Gumbs, to address you. Minister Gumbs, you have the floor.
Thank you, and good morning to my colleague ministers and to those joining us online and via radio. Just a few updates. It's my first press briefing back, so after quite some time, because I was busy with school visits. I've since completed visits to all public, subsidized, and private schools on the island. Currently, we are compiling our notes and concerns received from all of these visits and meetings with management teams. Many schools, as you can imagine, share same or similar concerns and challenges, and we will be developing comprehensive approaches to addressing all of these in the future. As part of that review and addressing concerns of the schools, and particularly from elementary level, the foundation-based education review is ongoing. The CLIMB Foundation has been meeting with all the schools, including secondary schools, to establish where gaps in the transition from elementary to secondary exist and how we can best address them and mitigate risks. Tonight at the Dutch Quarter Community Center, there is a town hall public consultation on the FBE review from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So I'm inviting the communities of Dutch Quarter, Belvedere, Defiance Middle Region to come out and share their views on FBE and their experiences so that public consultations can be fruitful and provide some context to the report. In the case of Prince William Alexander School, the investigation has been completed and the final report has been submitted to the ministry. Currently, the ministry is reviewing the report, and in a future press briefing, we will inform of steps we take to address the recommendations received following that investigation. And I'd like to thank the investigation team for their professionalism, their discretion, and their swiftness with handling this investigation. Additionally, as an update, the school bus fleet management system has been deployed in the interim in phase 2. 45 school transportation vehicles have all received the fleet management and monitoring system, which includes cameras and GPS tracking systems. 7 buses are undergoing repairs, and in the coming weeks, they will receive the installation of the system as well. Currently, as I mentioned, we are in phase 2, which is the testing phase for this system. That will last from now until July 2025. And then phase 3 will begin, which will include full deployment for the coming school year, ongoing support and evaluation and reporting. Alongside this testing phase, a policy is being established to regulate usage, data storage, and penalties for tampering with equipment for anyone who tampers with the equipment. And I want to remind the public that this system is meant to ensure the safety of students and bus drivers alike, and there will be stiff penalties for those who interfere with this equipment, no matter which side of that spectrum you're on. I'd like to thank the Department of Education for their tireless work over the years in making this a reality, and to all stakeholders for their patience, input, and insight, and cooperation in taking this step to provide safe environments for our students. Tomorrow, the ministry is back in Parliament as well for the Higher Education Ordinance. I will be returning to provide answers to questions posed in the first round by the members of Parliament, and then the meeting will continue with round 2. And it is my hope that we can wrap this handling of this ordinance up this week. It makes a significant step in the regulation and providing of further rules for higher education on St. Martin, and looking forward to its conclusion within short. And on the culture side, preparation is underway to establish the boundaries of the Simpson Bay Bridge Monument in collaboration with the leaseholder, Cadastre, CIMARC, and VROMI to ensure the monument remains protected in its totality while activities continue in that area. And in the theme of sports, I'd like to wish all of our aquatic athletes much success at the Carifta Games as they prepare to depart to Trinidad, and much success, and may you swim as fast as I hope you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Gumbs, for your opening remarks. At this time, I would like to invite the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister of General Affairs, Dr. Luc Marcelina, to address you. Prime Minister Marcelina, you have the floor.
Good morning, people of St. Martin. Before I go into giving some information to you all, I would once more want to make use of this opportunity to extend my condolences to the family and friends of the deceased Troy Washington. I recently came from a mission from the Netherlands, and there also I had the opportunity to miss the sister and the son and the daughter that are residing in the Netherlands. And it was a very emotional moment when I met them as Prime Minister of St. Martin. But I gave them words of comfort from government and the people, and Mr. Troy Washington will always stay in our memories. Further today, I would like to make some statements about the governing program. Secondly, I would like to make a statement about the budget 2025. I will say a few words about the mission that I recently had from the 20th to the 30th of March in the Netherlands. And I will speak a little about the career beurs also that took place on the 28th and the 29th of March in the Netherlands. And of course, a small information on the follow-up procedure concerning the C-suite accommodation of our utility company, GEBE. First of all, our governing program on March the 19th, 2025, The 2024 to 2028 governing program of Cabinet Bercelina II was provided to the Governor of St. Martin, Mr. Ajamo Bailey, and also to the Parliament of St. Martin. The Council of Ministers made a decision also to submit a request to the President of Parliament to, in case necessary, meet with Parliament and have an in-depth discussion regarding the governing program, including the strategic vision and priorities of this government in the House of the Representation of the People of St. Martin. As you know, the governing program actually is built on the resiliency, it's built on innovation, and it's built on improving of our health and our well-being. To start with, the first pillar on which our governing program is rested is the resilience aspect. And of course, for resiliency, whatever you do in a country, to actually guarantee resiliency, you will have to have a legal framework. And that has been always a challenge in this country, to establish legal frameworks for vision plans to have sustainability. This government is focusing on legislation in the coming 4 years, and we're going to have the possibility, if everything works out, to work on our electoral reform. We want to work on the mental health care professional registry that has recently been introduced, that we are starting to work on. We're going to try to work on the placement of political assistants in the cabinet of the ministers. Also, a challenge every time again by formation of a government is the screening process of ministers, and there should be some more clarity in this process, and the only way to guarantee clarity is to bring evident legislation. And of course, I have here the Minister of Romy next to me, and he is also committed to work on the waste ordinance that is an absolute necessity for the country of St. Martin. Coming back to the topic of resiliency, we spoke about, for example, the electoral reform. A second option that I think is important in guaranteeing resiliency of our island, St. Martin, in totality is, of course, guaranteeing a cross-border collaboration and regional collaboration for our people of our country. We have to work on enhancing our cross-border collaboration, of course, with the French side, but also focus on the possibility of strengthening our working relationship with the French side. Areas where we think that we should work intensively with each other is, for example, a coordinated emergency response mechanisms for hurricanes and other natural disasters. Another topic will be in our working relationship exploring joint initiatives to facilitate cross-border commerce, investments, and tourist growth. Also enhancing collaboration on immigration, law enforcement, and security protocols to ensure seamless movement of people while safeguarding national interest. And also encouraging deeper integration through education, of course, culture, and social initiatives. In regard to regional collaboration, we are focusing this year for us to see if we can become a associate member of the CARICOM or from the OECS, the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States. On the basis of further analyzing the governing program, we also see that we focus a lot on the pillar of innovation. Innovation is crucial to improve efficiency, drive growth, and tackle, of course, the modern challenges of nowadays. Our government is committed to focusing on digitalization within government and investing in our education as a way to ensure that we are prepared to embrace new technologies and opportunities. Of course, in the term and focus of innovation, we're going to focus also on renewable green energy in the coming years. And what government is also going to focus on as a pillar of innovation is, of course, the digitalization that is an absolute necessity to actually reorganize the functioning of the government apparatus. And last but not least, of course, we will have to invest in education. We're still seeing the lack of professionals that we need in our country to help us develop our nation. We will have to focus to actually organize our educational system in a way that it will adjust and comfort the necessities of the labor market. And of course, we will have to develop the implementation of a national artificial intelligence in our educational system. And as the Minister of Education is very focused on, we have to make sure that we finalize in the coming 4 years the reconstruction of Sister Marie Laurence School in Middle Region, and of course also from the Charles Leopold Bell School, and not to forget the National Library that is very close to my heart, because I really believe that if we have the status of a country, we have to have the right also to have a national library for our people. A other chapter that we focus on in our governing program is strengthening of our healthcare. The health and well-being of the residents of St. Martin is vital to the success of our country. We will have to focus during this governing period on the prevention in healthcare, the quality of our healthcare, and the affordability of our healthcare. Further, we are going to focus on increasing public awareness of mental health and initiating the building of an adequate mental health facility to better serve our community. We also are going to work on the establishment of a medical health professional registry, as I said. That is actually the one that is going to substitute the big registration that we are now working with, which will allow medical professionals outside the kingdom to also register and practice on St. Martin, thereby increasing the diversity and availability of medical specialists for country St. Martin. And of course, one of my babies is the hospital. We will continue to focus to keep the construction pace of the hospital at a high level for us to be able to finalize the project of the hospital in the coming 4 governing years. That is a little what I have to say about the governing program. Of course, it's a much larger program than what I have mentioned now at this press briefing. But of course, seeing the constraints of time, it's impossible to go in all the details of the governing program. But at least you can get a glimpse, an idea about the vision plans for this government for the coming 4 years. Concerning the budget 2025, the following. On January the 17th, 2025, the budget was unanimously approved for the first time in our parliament. Unfortunately, something went wrong with the notes of amendment from government and the amendments from parliament that had been suggested to be amended, to be added to the original budget 2025. As a result, the way it went with trying to accommodate the notes of amendment from government and the amendments from parliament, the final text cannot be established in the way we have been using the templates for the budget 2025. Correspondence has been sent from government to parliament and, of course, from the parliament back to government to find a solution for this technicality. Based on the correspondence, it is proposed to apply a novel-like legislative technique, which is common in the Netherlands but not in St. Martin. This novel concept is actually a method of working because in the Netherlands they have the first chamber and the second chamber. As you know, they treat the budget in the second chamber. The second chamber sends it to the first chamber for them to give their opinion and feedback on. And if there are any changes, then they call it the nouvelle that comes back from the first chamber back to the second chamber. In St. Martin, we do not have a first chamber, but the concept, and that's why I called it a nouvelle legislative-like technique, that we say, okay, we have made some amendments or proposal for amendments that have been approved in Parliament. We just have to adjust them in the budget. And the fact that we had encountered some technicalities, some technical issues in trying to accommodate the amendments from the side of government and Parliament. We had some challenges with that, and that is the reason now that we have to see how we're going to solve that problem. For St. Martin, it is proposed to correct solely the notes of amendment from government, as I said, and the amendments from Parliament by means of a national ordinance. That I think should happen, that we will have to have an extra national ordinance, after which the final text, what they call in Dutch the eindtekst, can be established on the basis on the one side of the initial on the initial national ordinance budget, and on the other side the corrective national ordinance budget of 2025, which solely amends the notes of amendment of government and the amendments of Parliament. So that national ordinance that we are going to propose has solely to do with the amendments of the notes of amendments from government and the amendments of Parliament. As soon as the final text has been established on the basis of the approach of how I have explained it, then we will then present it back to the CFT, and then we will also present it to legal affairs first, by the way, not on the to CFT, but first to legal affairs. Legal affairs is now busy with it to see how we can come to the understanding for this new additional landsverordening, and then on the basis of this approved landsverordening of the budget 2025, with next to that the second landsverordening for the amended version. In that way, simultaneously, those two landsverordeningen can go into practice. Regardless the outcome, the standard legislative trajectory applies, meaning advice from first the legal affairs, the CFT, the Council of Advice, and of course at the end to be presented to Parliament. I have the strong belief that we will get through. We have a budget 2025 approved by Parliament. It's in the workout of the technicalities of the proposed notes of amendments on the side of government and the amendments on the side of Parliament. We accounted some technical issues to actually incorporate those amendments into the already approved budget 2025. And I have the strong belief that we will get through, although it's a little complicated to actually correct this problem. I think soon we will be so far to have a budget 25 that government of St. Martin can work with. Concerning now the mission to the Netherlands that I had from the 20th of March until the 30th, I had a few planned official meetings in the Netherlands. It was a very successful mission for country St. Martin. First of all, I had a meeting with the cabinet and the minister plenipotentiary in Den Haag, being the representation in the name of Mrs. Gracita Arendel. We had an extreme meeting discussion on which we discussed the database that the St. Martin House, on the supervision of Mrs. Gracita Arendel, is working on a database for us to have a good overview of the students that are studying at this particular moment in the Netherlands. I think it's important realizing the necessities of professional in St. Martin that we actually register all the students that are actively busy in the Netherlands and especially keep track of their progress with their studies and especially keep a warm relationship with them for at the end when they are ready with their studies for them to be able to come back and help their country. Further, another challenge that a lot of students are encountering is, of course, the housing issue, and we are trying in all ways to be in contact with, on national level, what they call in the Netherlands the woonverenigingen, for us to see which of the institutions can assist us with providing us with accommodation for housing for our students every year. Further, we would like also to have a database to have a good overview about the diaspora of those from St. Martin in the Netherlands. And that is also a point that the St. Martin House is working on. And of course, we discussed a few details about improving the communication for the sake of efficiency, for the sake of actually having more success in our Kingdom Council of Ministers meetings. So it was a very successful meeting with the Minister Plenipotentiary and the Cabinet of the Minister Plenipotentiary in Den Haag. We also had a meeting with the VNG. The VNG is the Vereniging Nederlandse Gemeentes, and we made use of that opportunity to see if they can assist us with recruitment of personnel, human resources, human capital, in a way for us to increase our professional treasury for our country. As you know, and I said it already, we have a big challenge with filling in our professional treasury for our country. I also had a meeting with the management of the Hoge Hotelschool in Den Haag. That is a very prestigious educational institution in the Netherlands, and they are preparing students, professionals on a high level to be very efficient and well-informed once they are finalizing their study for them to work in the hospitality sector. And that is also what we need in this country. I even proposed to them, and we are working on that to see if we can get a working relationship with USM, in which the Hogeschool of Den Haag can have a pied-à-terre in St. Martin, not only to educate our students, but also giving students coming from the Netherlands or internationally from other countries, for them, for example, to do part of their education here. In this way, it helps both countries and the world. We will get a lot of students here. Perhaps some will be fascinated with St. Martin and will decide to stay, helping us with our hospitality sector in St. Martin, and at the end having more local, on a professional level, serving the tourism sector of country St. Martin. Further, I had some high-level meetings in St. Martin with, for example, the Prime Minister, Mr. Schoof of the Netherlands. Of course, our discussion points were matters concerning the kingdom relationship between St. Martin and the Netherlands, and also some concerns about border control has been discussed. Also, I brought to his attention the impact of geopolitical shifts that are taking place that can have some impact on our local economy, seeing the increase in the import tariffs in the United States, that actually products that we actually import in St. Martin can become very, very expensive for our local market. So we discussed that and see how we can mitigate that to actually comfort the people of St. Martin. We also spoke about suggestions to refocus on other countries where we can make some import of goods and food also. For example, we are focusing now to see if we can get the import of eggs out of St. Kitts and Nevis. I had that is an in-between a meeting also, but it was not in the Netherlands, with Mr. Andrew, that is the president of St. Kitts and Nevis. And we decided that we're going to work to see if we can get the import of eggs from St. Kitts and Nevis. Further, it's important to know that the United States retracted their membership from the World Health Organization. We have here the PAHO as a dependance of the World Health Organization for the Caribbean. And because of their retraction, they had a great contribution on membership fee that they paid, about $300 million per year. And they retracted their membership, and that will also have implication for the projects and programs coming from the World Health Organization to help the community of St. Martin. I spoke also with the State Secretary Zolt Sabo, the State Secretary of Kingdom Relations, and of course the topics that we discussed was the progress of the trust fund projects, guided by the trust fund, supervised by the World Bank, and executed by the NRPB. We spoke, of course, about what I said just now, what I also discussed with the Prime Minister, Mr. Schoof, about the import tariffs of goods that can have implication on a rise of prices of products and food in St. Martin. And also, of course, he wanted to know how the progress is for the application of the country packages that we are busy with. And I had some discussion with him about the disaster reserve fund that we are working on to establish, and also the possibility of establishing a development bank for country St. Martin. I also spoke with the Minister of Defense. It was very intense, my mission to the Netherlands, and there we spoke about a kingdom crisis plan that he would like to work on, to have a crisis plan at place in case of acute situations that can be a threat for the safety of the kingdom. I told him I have no problem to cooperate and work on that. And I proposed also for us to see if we can engage St. Martin more by getting the opportunity to educate our St. Martin people in military education, and preferable to have the education here in St. Martin instead of them going to the Netherlands. This all with my vision for nation building for the future of country St. Martin. And of course, the Minister of Defense had his worries seeing the geopolitical shifts. So he had some worries, and that's why we discussed the topic of border control. And the last but the most prestigious meeting was, of course, the meeting with the King Willem-Alexander. It was for me a great honor to represent the people of St. Martin by visiting the King in Huizen den Bosch. I was received with a lot of egaar and a lot of respect and a lot of acknowledgement of country St. Martin. I want to make use also of this opportunity to send the regards of the King for the people of St. Martin. And as last, we had the visit to the career fair, the Carrièrebeurs. As you know, we have a big challenge with having enough professionals, as I said, to help us to build our country. So we put a lot of effort and energy and investment in making optimal use of the career fair for country St. Martin, seeing if we can recruit professionals to come help us with the construction of our great St. Martin. And we had a lot of interest of people that would like to come and work in St. Martin. We are having a whole database of everybody that we spoke with. We took a lot of information of everybody that were very, very interested to come help St. Martin. And hopefully with the very disciplinary follow-up that we will have, especially with the Department of P&O, hopefully we will have success with the recruitment that took place. As last, of course, because we are so in need of professionals to come back, realizing the brain drain combined with the brain drain that we have in our country, we have to start thinking on incentives to bring our professionals and our students that finalize their studies in a way that it becomes attractive to get them here on the island. And we thought about some incentives that we have at place to attract those students and professional and young professionals to come back to St. Martin. For example, we thought about a relocation benefit. If you are married, the government will give you a 3,750 guilders as assistance for your relocation from, for example, the Netherlands to St. Martin. If you're single, you're going to get 2,000 guilders. As I said, if you're married, 3,750. And extra child, every child that you have will get per child 250 guilders extra. That is a financial incentive to show the professionals that we really want to try to accommodate them, realizing that we will not be able to pay them and compensate them financially as the Western rich world is doing. But we are trying, as a small country with our vulnerable financial status, we still try to do something to make it attractive for people to come back to St. Martin to work here and help us with St. Martin. We are also covering the travel expenses of those coming back. We will pay the ticket for them to come back, but economy class tickets they're going to get, we will fund that completely. We are going to pay extra 10 kilograms for passengers above the 12 year and 5 kilogram extra for children under the 12 years. In case it's a family that comes back, we will even give the kids 5 kilogram extra that we will pay for. We will even pay 6 weeks extra to accommodate them when they come back. You can imagine seeing the tight housing market that we have here. It can be difficult for them to have, as of day one in St. Martin, a place to stay. So we are accommodating them for 6 weeks in a hotel. And further, the transportation of a car. In case they have a car, we are willing to pay a 40-feet container for them to come with their car. And also, we are willing to pay 20-feet container for their items that they want to come with their furnitures, etc. Other related costs, for example, if you come here, you need cost for a ID card. It costs you money. The government is even willing to assist with 250 guilders per adult. We're going to also try to work on an adjustment allowance if we see that there is an enormous contradiction between what we can pay here and what the Netherlands is paying them, because you can imagine that they have to disconnect from their work to come here. They're going to show us their pay slip that they have in the Netherlands. We will see if we can make an adjustment of a 15% adjustment to the salary that we can pay them, to see if we can balance a little, get a little a balance in what they are accustomed to have in the Netherlands compared to what we can pay them here. If the students come back from the Netherlands, we will work to give them a forgiveness, as we say, of their student loans of 10% per year. And we can go even to a 50% forgiveness for their study loans, if it's, for example, a St. Martin study financing package that they had, or their studies with Duo, in which they have to pay back their Duo also. We're going to assist them from 10% to 50% forgiveness, assist them technically, financially, for them to get rid of their from their loan, their study loan, and move forward as a professional. I think personally that seeing the limited financial situation that this small country has, but very ambitious, I have mentioned a few incentives that as a government we decided to do to attract people back. Because every time a discussion is, yes, St. Martin is not paying them enough, and I wanted to prove that to the world that this Prime Minister with this government is really serious in trying to actually attract, recruit professionals back, instead of every time hearing the public saying that we are not paying our students that come back enough, or that we are not actually compensating our professional financially enough. So it's a matter of taking action, taking decision, and now this government is proving to St. Martin that we really want to propel this country to more prosperity, and that is also the reason that this government took the decision to bring incentives for us to once try to solve the problem of a deficit of our professional treasury, and in that way try to bring back a great balance between professionals and well-educated people with a good educational background to help us propel and move forward this country. I think I have explained and informed the people enough for today, and I want to make use of this opportunity, of course, to thank the people for their attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prime Minister Marcelina, for your opening remarks. Viewing and listening audience, this does bring us to the end of the Live Council of Ministers press briefing for today, Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025. For rebroadcast, tune in to stmartingov.org, St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9 FM, Tel TV Plus Channel 15, the official Facebook page of the Government of St. Martin, and YouTube channel Government of St. Martin. For video on demand, log on to the Government of St. Martin's YouTube channel. On behalf of the Department of Communication and the Government of St. Martin, I'm Rolika Roach and wishing you a pleasant day further.